place their seats, we're going to get going with tonight's program. Because the sooner I'm finished, the more time we have to spend with the leaders. So I just want to welcome everybody here tonight. It's great to see a full house of people. And I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Wayde. I'm the candidate for the Wild Rose Alliance here in Highlands, Norwood. So hopefully the people from Highlands, Norwood, can I see a show of hands? How many people here live in the areas? Okay, so there's a few. And I'll be wheeling up to your doorsteps to see you very soon. So I just want to say thank you to Alex Sang and the rest of the Norwood Legion staff for opening their facility for us tonight. They're normally closed on Mondays, and they opened up their facility so we could have our event here tonight. So if we can give them a big round of applause too, that would be great. I also want to thank the hard work of my Highlands Norwood Board of Directors and volunteers, as well as the hard work of a few other constituency associations from Edmonton Centre, Edmonton Castle Downs, and Edmonton Decor that help bring this event together. So thank you very much. Special guest-wise, we have with us our provincial director, Chris Jones, is here, that inspired us to bring this event together, and so thank you, Chris. And I don't believe any of our other Wild Rose Caucus MLAs are here? No, they're not able to be here tonight. So I'd like to introduce a few of my candidate colleagues. For quite a few months, three of us were like the Three Musketeers, and way back in October. We have Kyle McLeod from Edmonton Rutherford. John Corey from Edmonton Riverview. And just this past weekend, we were lucky enough to have two more candidates join us. Bart DeGroot, Edmonton Centre. Daryl Bonnar from Edmonton Mayfield. So, just wanted to let everybody know that we're going to try to run with questions until about 8:30, and then after that, the leader will be available to meet and greet and possibly take a picture or two, that kind of thing. Before I forget, and I see him over there in the corner with the camera, Tim has been good enough to put this event on camera for prosperity for us here. This is our big first event here in Highlands Norwood, but on the north side of the river as well. Well, we'll get to the reason why everybody's all here. And on October 17th, 2009, the Alberta political landscape changed when Wild Rose Alliance members elected Danielle Smith as their new leader. Since then, Alberta politics has been shaken to its core. For the first time in 20 years, the 40-year-old progressive conservative dynasty faces a real challenge in the next election. And that challenge is a Wild Rose challenge. In Danielle Smith, Alberta finally has a leader who isn't afraid to lead on healthcare issues. Danielle is the only leader willing to take on special interests and embrace true reform that will get our costs under control and our wait times down. Since she is the only leader standing up for Alberta landowners against the PC's reckless land use policies. Only Danielle will clean up government, empowering individual MLAs to represent their constituencies or their constituents first, and giving ordinary Albertans a direct voice in the future of our province. And no other leader, least of all any of the PC leadership candidates, have expressed the same ideas for how to get our government spending back under control and how to return to balanced budgets. Almost a year ago, I had the pleasure of attending an event called Super Monday, where I first heard Danielle speak with passion about her vision on reclaiming the Alberta advantage. It was after that I knew this was a party I wanted to be a part of. It is my great pleasure this evening to introduce the leader of the Wild Rose Alliance and the next Premier of Alberta, Danielle Smith.
For that introduction. There's sort of an implicit warning in there for some of you who are interested in politics. Wayde and I met a year ago, and as you can see, we hooked him into being a candidate and put him to work. So it may well be that some of you sitting in the audience here tonight, a year from now, may also be a candidate for our party, and I sure hope that's the case. I'm just delighted that we now have 5 excellent candidates to represent Edmontonians in our party and also feed into our legislative activities. Wayde and Kyle and John, now Barb and Daryl are going to be just a terrific addition to our team. And so I thank you all for coming this evening to meet me and to meet them. I have a few prepared comments tonight, and then we'll get into a town hall. But I just want to start by saying, you know, I never know when I go to a new event what I'm going to expect, because it started off pretty slow for us about a year and a half ago when I decided that I was going to run for this party. I guess it's almost 2 years now. I have a story to tell about how we went off to Grand Prairie for the first time. And we set up the room expecting 200 people to show up. We were pretty excited about what we were doing. And 6 people showed up. And 2 of them were family members. Now, I could have got discouraged, but I remember reading a story about Peter Loughy when he was traveling around the province trying to start up his party in the 1960s. And he went to Cold Lake, and it was a cold and blustery night when he flew in. He showed up at the community hall, opened the door, and there was one person in the room. So he waited for a bit, and no one else showed up, so he went and gave a speech, and at the end he said, "Well, are there any questions?" And the one guy put up his hand and said, "I just came here to open up the hall." You're done. I wouldn't mind getting home to my family. So every new party starts off modestly, and I'm pleased to report the last time I went to Grand Prairie, we had a sellout crowd of 360 people at the end of October. So things are going well for us, yeah. But of course, if you have been following the news, you've probably been hearing more and more about our party, the Wild Rose. What we're finding is people are joining us from all over They really want to be a part of this grassroots movement. And I think that's because they see that we do politics differently. We believe that politics should be a two-way dialogue, not just a one-way monologue. And people are responding to that. You may also have seen a few recent polls that have got the governing party a little bit worried. Most of them show that we're in second place and chomping at their heels, within striking distance of forming government, if an election were held today. Now, we have an awful lot of work to do still to prepare for that election, but we're making great progress. Our Wild Rose Party, which really is only 3 years old, already has 4 members in the Legislative Assembly. We have established constituency associations in all 83 constituencies, and as you've seen, we've begun choosing candidates in every one. We've got 26 candidates now. We've got a number of open races. We hope to be able to be at around 50 or 55 candidates by the summer. I believe that we are the first new party to be able to accomplish all of this since 1971. And we all know what happened that year. Meanwhile, the rest of the opposition appears to be falling apart. There's a new center-left party that's emerged, which is dividing and weakening that vote even more. The Premier, with the biggest legislative majority in the country, has been pretty much forced out by his own party. The Finance Minister, with the country's richest per capita revenues, he resigned as Finance Minister just a few short weeks before he was supposed to deliver the budget. And in the very run-up to the next election, we've got 3 parties that have been pulled into the dangerous distraction of a leadership contest. In the case of the governing party, less than 5 years after the last one. So I have to ask you, how often does Alberta politics get this interesting? People are stirred up, they're excited, and they're asking questions. They're asking, what's going on? What does this mean? Well, today I'll tell you what the election of a Wild Rose government, if it happens, would mean, what it would mean for your health care, what it would mean for your investments, and what it would mean for your community. And I do hope tonight to give you a clear sense of what our party is all about, so that you can decide if you think we should govern Alberta, because that's our objective, to govern. It's not to oppose, it's not to complain, it's not to call the other parties names or to criticize their ideas. It's to govern. Now, is that impossible? Not really. MLA Paul Hinman, you may recall, won our first seat in a by-election in September of 2009. He was followed pretty shortly after by a couple of other MLAs, Rob Anderson and Heather Forsyth, who joined our party in January of last year. And then Guy rounded out our caucus, making us an official party in the legislature when he joined us in the fall. Our caucus, if you put this in combination, already has 40 years of collective legislative experience, including 15 years of cabinet experience. And we also have some of the very best policy minds in Canada helping us out developing our policy. They're working for us because the current government stopped listening to them a long time ago. And as you have seen, we're already beginning to select excellent candidates from all backgrounds and from all across this great province. But the one question I get quite a bit is people asking, what is it that makes Wild Rose different from the other parties? And let me start by saying that we are the party that wants to bring back the Alberta Advantage. And we used to have the Alberta Advantage, and it was more than just a slogan. Back in the 1990s, the government eliminated deficits, they eliminated debt, they got us back into surpluses, reduced spending, reduced red tape, reduced taxes, got out of the business of being in business, and they made this province the best place in the country to live, to work, to raise a family, and to start a business. And I think people fear that that's no longer the case. You can see the difference with our party, because in our party, the Wild Rose, we start off talking about our values and our belief in the proper role of government. We believe, for instance, that the government is elected by the people of Alberta and works for the people of Alberta.